Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good afternoon. Selamat berpuasa semua. Okay, jom. Today we will continue with our chapter 3. Chapter 3 ni dia ada summary. Dia ada banyak subtopik. Which subtopik tu kalau masa you degree nanti dia akan jadi a very detailed topic. Tapi for your syllabus ni saya akan go through sikit-sikit sahajalah. Untuk yang this one, dia punya chapter dia combine dua, which is accounting for overhead, and then the rest of yang job costing, product costing, batch costing, process costing, and service costing. Okay, ada dua chapters ni saya combinekan, accounting for overhead and yang semua yang costing kat bawah ni. Okay. So this one at the end, you punya this one basic cost management concept. Yang ni, yang atas ni last kali for each macam for each yang job costing, product costing, batch costing, process costing, and service costing ni, last kali you boleh you can calculate the total production cost based on job, based on product, batch, process, and service. And then you are able to determine the cost per unit and selling price. Yang chapter 3 ni adalah kesinambungan from chapter 2. Okay. At the end of this chapter, students should be able to learn characteristic of job costing, calculation of job cost and determination of quoted price, characteristic of batch costing, calculation of cost per unit, characteristic of joint product costing, process costing, and others. Jadi ni yang kita akan belajar slowly. Hari ni tutorial, so kita tak akan banyak buat calculation lah. So calculation nanti kita akan set tarikh lain untuk kita buat kita punya tutorial. Okay, then kita akan baca pasal normal cost, abnormal loss, abnormal gain, and abnormal gain dalam this chapter. For those yang very interested to become a management accountant or cost accountant, this is one of your future career. This is one of your future career that you can choose after you complete your bachelor. This one is Emerson Process Management Asia Pacific Private Limited. The position is senior accountant or senior cost accountant. Job responsibilities: responsible for a key cost accounting work, including product costing, standard cost updates, variance analysis, and month-end closing. So you akan buat product costing and then standard costing. Dekat sini, saya boleh tambah juga standard costing. Kita ada banyak insert below. Okay. Kita ke atas. Tambah di atas. So pergi standard costing. Lepas tu tekan sikit. Okay. Okay, ada saya tambah standard costing kat situ. Responsible for the key cost accounting work, including product costing, standard costing, variance analysis, and month-end closing. This one is stock take. You can buat month-end stock take, month-end close. Month-end stock take pula dah. This one month-end closing. You can buat report lah for you punya every month punya end of the month punya closing. Report prepares monthly analysis in group product cost accounting report. Handles and monitor fixed asset spend, count and requisition. Fixed asset lah, fixed asset. Prepares monthly financial report for operation review. Liaise with internal and external auditor. Assist in cycle count and year stock count, yearly stock count, stock take lah. So you involve on stock take, you check asset, you buat a report, and then you buat product costing and standard costing. This one yang bawah ni dia punya job requirement dia, degree in accountancy, ACCA or equivalent, with at least 3 years of experience in operations accounting and financial analysis function. Excellent analytical skill with a solid understanding of accounting policy and practice. Good interpersonal skills, meticulous, very penting, and able to handle tight deadlines. Preferably with experience in Hyperion financial management and Oracle software. Strong Microsoft Excel skills will be an advantage. This one you boleh check lah dia punya job requirement and job responsibility. Okay, jom kita go to cost accounting. Cost accounting ni dia so-called system. Kalau dalam ni kita belajar cost accounting system ni, macam mana sistem tu calculate apa yang required by the management. Okay, for example, untuk accounting system ni, it can be like dalam Excel, it can be dalam software. Okay, the system dia boleh jadi financial accounting system juga. It's a combination of financial and costing system. From financial accounting tu kita boleh buat costing juga. That's why company big company in Malaysia, they are using a very high-end punya system, which is they combine between financial system dengan costing system, and then they combine juga dengan the whole organisation punya system. Ada HR, ada IT, ada procurement. Macam certain company, example dulu masa saya kerja dekat CCM, they are using SAP. SAP. Saya lupa dah dia punya ni. Singkatan dia SAP. SAP tu dia merangkumi semua for the whole group, for the whole company. So everybody will have their own user and ID, user ID lah, user ID, and then they will access. So semua kerja guna one ultimate, one system lah. So cost accounting system ni can gather information can gather financial and costing information lah to determine the production cost per unit, to determine everything kat sini lah. Total production cost, cost per unit, selling price, quoted price, CPU, semua cost per unit tu, this system boleh generate for us. And then it will help the manager, operation manager, sales and marketing manager, semua manager yang related to set selling price. So to set the selling price, to compute the cost of goods sold, and then to compute cost of inventory. Okay. From the system kita boleh calculate semua, including selling price, cost, cost of goods sold, cost of inventory, and others. Dan juga semua cost, direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses, administration expenses, sales and marketing, distribution. Product cost, period cost, semua all together we combine dalam all together we gather the information from this cost accounting system. It can be in Excel, it can be in system. This one. Then melalui sistem ni juga we can split, we can separate, we can assign the cost to for each product, each job, each process. So melalui sistem tu dia boleh calculate semua job costing, product costing, service costing, batch costing, process costing, and target costing, as well as standard costing. So it's combination of all. Kita ada satu sistem. It can be manually, it can be automatic system punya lah. Maksudnya sistem ataupun Excel. And then this one kita dah belajar. We already learned this one in chapter 2, which is in accounting. This is all the important cost in determining the accuracy, the product cost, which is yang ni yang kita dah belajar dulu lah. Cuma yang ni kita akan belajar lagi in chapter 3 about direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, indirect cost or manufacturing overhead. How kita allocate all these costs to their product, to their respective product or to their respective process, to their respective job. Okay, this is costing for overhead or accounting for overhead. This one is for manufacturing overhead. Yang kat sini kita boleh tengok dekat indirect cost, manufacturing overhead or production overhead, factory overhead, production overhead or factory overhead. So this one kita akan gunakan POAR or OAR untuk kita agihkan cost to the respective product ataupun job. First kita belajar predetermine, POAR, pre-overhead rate. POAR, predetermine tu kita buat awal lah. Yang OAR tu kita based on actual. POAR. So more or less dia sama saja, cuma pre tu is pre, kita determine awal, and then yang OAR, normal OAR tu kita determine based on actual ke, based on forecast ke, based on estimated ke, based on whatever method that we use, whatever judgement yang judgement yang kita guna. Contohnya, how much overhead do we expect to use? For example, like overhead yang ni, manufacturing overhead yang bawah ni, indirect cost ni, how much indirect cost do we expect to use? So kita expected. This one mungkin kita guna masa kita buat budget. Okay, 500k per year. Okay, and then dia kata what input cost us to use those MOH resources like labor, material, indirect labor, indirect material, indirect, semua yang ni lah yang cost yang affected. And then let's apply overhead cost to job based on the use of the selected report. Maksudnya nanti once kita dapat dah kita nak set awal tu, kita punya OAR tu, cost dia, and then kita akan guna untuk kita calculate kita punya, for example, like standard costing. Example macam di hotel. Di hotel kita ada hotel, restaurant, kita ada serve food and beverage. Okay, food and beverage tu dia satu-satu kan sepinggan atau satu menu. And then macam mana kita dapat cost per menu tu. Okay, so sebelum ataupun based on actual, this one kita based on sebelum. Sebelum kita buat apa-apa, kita kira dulu. Kita estimate dulu harga dia berapa. Maksudnya kita nak start buka company lah, buka restoran ataupun buka restoran ataupun kita buat hotel tu buka coffee house ataupun coffee house lah. So kita estimate berapa cost, contohnya sepinggan nasi goreng. Kita estimate lah berapa chef yang masak tu, berapa gaji dia in total. Contohnya chef, kalau yang this one is POR ni, this one manufacturing overhead. So kalau chef tu is direct labor. Okay. So this one is manufacturing overhead. So contohnya assistant chef ataupun inventory punya storekeeper. So kita kira gaji dia berapa semua, and then kita estimate berapa contohnya berapa kuantiti nasi goreng yang kita boleh estimate kita boleh jual dalam masa 1 bulan. Nasi goreng mungkin dia banyak jenis kan, nasi goreng kampung, nasi goreng Cina, semua dia estimate lah. Dia estimate last sekali dia boleh dapat, okay, untuk indirect labor ni, electricity lah apa semua yang kita belajar masa chapter 2 tu, in total dapat 5,000. Macam mana kita nak pecahkan per pinggan? Dia punya sistem lah, sebab Excel, dia dah complicated sikit. Like 500,000 setahun tu kita bahagi by 12, contoh lah kan, contoh bagi by 12. Lepas tu contoh bahagi by berapa kuantiti nasi goreng kita boleh produce untuk 1 bulan tu. So last kali in total electricity lah, water, electricity, cleaner, untuk ambil order makanan, semua in total tu kita bahagi-bahagi, sepinggan nasi kita dapat RM1. Untuk semua cost tu, average dia. RM1 tu ialah POAR dia lah. Predetermined overhead rate. Kalau chapter 2 dulu kita belajar contohnya, saya buka balik slide chapter 2. Saya buka CS1. Okay, yang this one kita kira dulu, kita ada kira yang contohnya. Ni semua ni kita kira semua ni. Sekarang kita dapatkan per unit. Ada tak tutorial yang kita buat ni? Okay. Lepas kita kira semua yang ni, this one ya. Okay. Secondary cost, manufacturing overhead, factory overhead ataupun production overhead ni yang consist of indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses ni kita totalkan setahun, and then kita pecahkan by unit, by product. Kita ada banyak produk. So untuk cara yang senang, 500,000 tu contohnya kita boleh sediakan 100,000 pinggan nasi goreng. So 500,000 tu bahagi dengan 100,000. So satu pinggan nasi goreng RM5 overhead cost dia. Direct material dia sayur tu lah. Yang dia nak ni direct labor ni chef tukang masak ni. Direct expenses tak ada royalty, tak ada ni, tak ada lah. Kalau contohnya kalau kedai makan biasa tak adalah. Kalau kedai makan yang dia franchise, dia kena bayar royalty, patent and others. So chef tambah ni, lepas tu tambah indirect ni RM5. Contohnya direct material RM5, chef RM5, indirect material yang kita kira tadi RM5. So RM15 cost dia. And then kita tambah markup RM5, dia dapat RM20. So sepinggan nasi dekat restoran RM20. Chapter 2 ni kita belajar pasal yang ni je. Chapter 3 kita belajar okay, macam nak kira cost untuk satu unit tu. Based on job, based on process, based on job, process, product dan juga lain-lain juga. So kita akan kira. Okay. So kita tengok illustration this one. Contohnya Bob Company. Bob. Sendirian Berhad. Okay, Sendirian Berhad. Bob Sendirian Berhad expect to expand 100K in manufacturing overhead. They plan to use 20,000 direct labor hour and feel that labor is closely linked to overhead use. Dekat sini dia kata ini manufacturing ya, ni kilang. Tadi saya buat restoran kan. Ini contoh kilang. dia dah pening-pening dia nak kira apa kos utama dekat kilang ni. Yang indirect labor, indirect material, indirect cost tu kan. So dia kira-kira dia guna satu ketetapan yang kita nak pecahkan manufacturing overhead tu RM100K tu based on direct labor hour sahaja. Kita guna based on pinggan kan. Saya cerita 500,000 bahagi berapa pinggan. Nak senang kan, berapa pinggan yang dia, berapa order ke berapa pinggan yang dia dapat. So this one dekat kilang dia guna direct labor hour, satu rate je dia guna. Kalau tadi pinggan, ini direct labor hour. So di kilang biasanya kita tengok berapa lama orang bekerja dekat kilang. Okay, untuk kita tengok dia punya water, electricity semua tu, contohnya cost water electricity tu dia refer dekat satu saja, direct labor hour. And then for the whole year tu dia plan untuk guna 20,000 direct labor hour. So untuk overhead untuk total overhead cost tu dia guna satu je. So nanti senang dia nak pecah-pecahkan by product, by process. So dia punya calculation is total manufacturing overhead, you just divide by 20,000 direct labor hour. And then you predetermine overhead rate ni POHR ke POAR ni, POAR ni ialah RM5 per direct labor hour. Contohnya ya, direct labor hour. Kedai kek lah, contoh kedai kek. Dia pening macam mana dia nak pecahkan manufacturing overhead tu ke setiap kek tu. Mungkin itu tak sesuai contohnya katakan. Okay, so dia nak guna berapa lama pekerja dia ambil masa untuk buat kek semua tu. Okay, and then dia based on mungkin untuk kedai kek, mungkin kek lah bilangan kek tu diperlukan. So berapa total manufacturing overhead tu bahagi dengan berapa kek yang dia produce untuk satu bulan. Nah, kalau kek senang je. Kalau kilang ni dia salah satu contoh cara dia guna direct labor hour. So untuk satu produk, contohnya kayu, meja ya, contoh meja ya. Untuk satu meja tu, satu meja diperlukan 5 jam. 5 jam untuk buat meja, satu meja. Okay, 5 jam untuk buat satu meja. So dia punya manufacturing overhead yang company tu set RM5 kali 5 jam. So RM20 adalah manufacturing overhead untuk satu meja. Tu tambah dengan direct material dia, tambah dengan direct labor dia, tambah dengan direct expense dia. So in total RM25 tadi tambah dengan lain-lain tu dapat dia punya product cost. Dia guna satu rate sahaja. And then dia bila kita kira-kira tu dia akan jadi macam, sebab ni predetermined kan. So dia akan ada macam bila dah actual nanti dia akan jadi over or under allocated. Kalau contohnya kita allocate kurang, so dia akan jadi under allocated. Kalau kita allocate lebih, dia jadi over allocated. Dia punya overhead tu nanti. Okay, contohnya illustration yang kedua ni. Jimmy Stanley and Co. produces specialized safety devices. For the year, manufacturing overhead costs are expected to be 160K. Ingat manufacturing ni adalah based on you kira masa chapter 2 dulu ni. Indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses. 160K and expected machine usage 40K hours. So dia guna bila dia nak set a predetermined overhead absorption rate ni, dia menggunakan expected machine usage which is 40,000 hours. And then dia pun cakap the company assign overhead based on machine hour. So tadi saya based on pinggan, sepinggan nasi, berapa pinggan nasi, berapa biji kek. Yang ni dia guna berapa jam mesin tu bergerak. So guna machine hour. And then this job yang dia dapat ni produce specialized safety devices ni, dia panggil job number dia ialah 302. So this one mungkin 1 year tu dia ada job nombor 1, 2, 3, 4, project nombor 1, project nombor 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So job tu kalau you boleh nak faham sikit, dia boleh guna Dia boleh guna sebagai projek 1, projek 2, projek 3. Job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4. Macam artis kan, you sudah dengar kan, you dapat job tak? I dapat job lah, I ada 3 job bulan ni. Job. Okay. Predetermined dia ialah 160,000, 160k, you divide by 40k hours, and then you will get 4 ringgit, around 4 ringgit per machine hour. Okay. And then dia kata job number 302 ni, it require 22k machine hour to complete this job, and then overhead, manufacturing overhead dia ialah RM 8k, 2k you times by 4, POAR, and then you will get 8,000. So this one dia akan charge dekat job number 302. Ini job costing. Maksudnya gaji pekerja-pekerja you tu macam ni you nak pecahkan based on job ya. Dia based on macam ni lah. Berapa jam pekerja tu ambil masa untuk settlekan job number 302? Berapa lama mesin tu digunakan untuk settlekan job 302? Ni predetermined overhead absorption rate kita guna. Ini before lah untuk kita plan. Okay. Dekat sini kita boleh tengok, ini dia nak cakap over or under lah. Kalau kita terlebih, terkurang, dia jadi, kalau kita estimate lebih, dia jadi over. Kalau estimate kurang, dia jadi under. Okay. Okay. Contohnya dekat sini, macam mana kita nak check under or over ya. Estimated fixed production overhead stated at 16,200 regardless of any volumes or unit. This one is fixed cost. Okay, fixed cost in this question remain unchanged regardless of quantity, volume or unit. So unit they produce is 2.8k, 3k, 3.4k, 1.9k. So dia punya fixed production overhead is fixed at 16.2k. Okay, estimate ya. What happen if we produce more or less of the product and the production are more or less than the plan? POAR stood at 6 ringgit per unit. Okay, POAR 6 ringgit ya. Per unit. Okay, kalau unit dia 2.8k, fixed production dia ialah 16.2. So dia punya OAR dia ialah 6 ringgit, you times dengan 2008. And then you will get 16,800. So dekat sini based on you punya estimation dengan based on POAR dengan based on estimation, dia ada variance of dia punya fix dia 16.2 and then dia punya yang you kira based on OAR dia 16.8k. So ada variance 6k. Which is this one is over. Maksudnya you punya OAR tu terlebih. Dia kata dia estimate 16.2 fix. Tak ada perubahan. Regardless of volume, benda tu tetap. Tapi bila you estimate, you dapat 16,800. So terlebih 600. This one is over absorb. Kalau 3K pula, you kira 3K kali dengan 6 ringgit, you dapat 18,000. So dia estimated fixed production overhead stated at 16.2. So dia estimate 16.2 je. Tapi based on you checking predetermine you do, you dapat 18,000. So ada over absorb 1.8k. And then the rest to 3.4k, dia ada over 4.2k. And then last kali, kalau you produce 1.9k, you akan ada under absorb 4.8k. Maksudnya company tu dia dah set 16,200 cost dia kerana kuantiti dia kurang, so you produce kurang, and then you set tu menjadi kurang lah. So you set tadi based on 1,900 kali 6 ringgit sahaja, and then you will get 11.4k. So you tu kurang absorb untuk you punya yang ni, untuk kuantiti tu. Maksudnya you kena produce kuantiti dia, jangan contohnya sini 16.2 by 6, you kena lebih kurang 2,700 kuantiti you kena produce. untuk you dapatkan data over and data under. Ini estimation sahajalah yang predetermined based on kita dah set fixed cost yang kita dah set earlier, and then based on predetermined overhead absorption rate ni. Okay, ini ada dua, ini just nak inform you ada under, ada over. If you guna POAR ni. Maksudnya this one is comparison, variance analysis between fixed production overhead versus estimated ataupun predetermined overhead absorption rate. Okay, this one is contoh dia, kita buat. Cost absorption means that the fixed overhead costs are absorbed into cost of the product. Okay, three method of doing this is among this one dia nak cerita bahasa contoh ni contohnya kita buat contoh dulu. Boyce neighborhood manufacture furniture and estimates its fixed production overhead cost next year will be 18K, and that will produce 3 tables incurring 4K direct labor hour and 100 machine hour. So dia ada tiga ya, dia ada dua method kat sini, dia kata tiga method ya. Satu dia nak pecahkan fixed production overhead cost tu yang 18K tu by apa? By tables, by direct labor hour, by machine hour. So ada tiga lah contoh kat situ. So it can be any, you boleh pilih mana satu. Kalau you nak set dia punya overhead absorption rate tu. Macam yang kalau you nak guna CPU, cost per unit untuk this one, you nak jadikan OAR dia, total overhead dia 18K, you divide by 3K, and then you will get RM6 per unit. Kalau cost per direct labor hour, you nak guna you nak guna setting dia based on direct labor hour, you akan kira dia punya quantity dia RM4.50 per labor hour, dan tengok produk tu, satu produk tu berapa jam dia perlu untuk settle untuk buat produk tu. Kalau based on cost per machine hour, 18K you divide by 800 hour and you will get 22.5 RM 22.5 50 cent per machine hour, and then you check one product machine hour dia berapa dia guna, and then you will get back individual punya production overhead for each product, for each job, for each process. So dekat this one ada tiga method, ada tiga dipanggil cost driver yang you boleh guna. Okay, ini POR. Nanti kita akan buat tutorial POR ni together with job costing semua ni. That's why dia related POR ni dengan job costing. Okay, jom kita buat job costing, and kita rehat dulu, and then kita sambung kemudian. Okay, job costing, job order costing, job order cost system. This one sama je. Benda yang sama, cuma different people they are using different term, and sometimes they are using job costing, sometimes they are using job order costing, and sometimes they are using job order cost system. Job costing versus process costing diagram. Saya buka accounting firm. I'm opening my own accounting firm, and I resign from the RBI Community University. I resigned from the RBI University and become a businessman. And I open my own accounting firm dekat Pekan. So I punya business ni based on job, client. I dapat satu job daripada satu client, job 2, job 3, job 4. Okay, kalau I dapat, for example, job I dapat 200 job. So I akan buat coding lah, job A, job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, job 5 sampai job 200. Job A daripada Gamuda Senang Berhad. Job B daripada Berkat Mahir Senang Berhad. Job C daripada ni. So I punya gaji pekerja ni macam mana nak pecahkan? I punya electricity ni macam mana I nak pecahkan based on job, sebab I nak keluarkan quotation kepada klien, dan I nak set I punya harga kepada klien, and then I nak issue I punya invoice kepada klien. So semua tu I perlu allocate my cost sebelum I charge klien. Contohnya I charge RM1,200. RM1,200 tu including my cost dan juga markup profit. So electricity macam mana nak pecahkan? Water macam mana nak pecahkan? Internet macam mana nak pecahkan? Stationery macam mana nak pecahkan? My staff punya salary macam mana nak pecahkan? I punya depreciation laptop, depreciation printer macam mana nak pecahkan? Event I buat dekat my staff, event berbuka puasa punya event, kurma punya, kuih raya semua macam mana nak pecahkan? That's why kita guna tadi tu OAR untuk kita pecahkan manufacturing overhead, manufacturing factory overhead ataupun production overhead tu kepada setiap job. Okay, client A ni I nak charge dia indirect cost dia berapa? Client B I nak charge indirect cost dia berapa? Client C I nak charge indirect cost dia berapa? Itu adalah job costing. Macam artis, macam penyanyi, macam kontraktor, they are using job costing. Kontraktor, dia dapat kontrak untuk bina 1 sekolah, 2 sekolah, 3 sekolah untuk tahun tu. So dia akan pecahkan cost tu, agihkan cost tu based on job yang dia dapat. And then untuk buat sekolah menengah kebangsaan A ni, untung dia berapa? Total cost dia berapa? Dia asingkan based on job yang dia dapat. Whereas for process costing, contohnya job A yang saya dapat. Job A yang saya dapat ni, company besar. Memerlukan 3 orang ya. 3 orang untuk buat job itu. Orang pertama ialah dia sorting dokumen company A. Dia sort je. Dia sorting dokumen company A itu, and then dia masukkan dalam file, dia dia checking semua figure-figure semua tu, and then dia semua dibuat tu dia compare cantik dalam file, and then dia akan pass dekat accountant yang akan key in dalam sistem accounting, key in dan akan masuk dalam Excel. Reporting jadilah audited report, draft audited report. And then dah sampai situ ada seorang supervisor akan checking. So proses pertama, proses kedua, proses ketiga, and then ada lagi 2 orang manager akan review. So dia ada 5 proses dalam tu. So macam mana kita nak pecahkan proses pertama, kedua, ketiga, keempat, kelima? Itu namanya proses costing. Ini job costing. And definition of job costing. Ini kita baca pasal job costing dulu ya. Job costing. Ini kita settle dengan job costing dulu. Sebelum saya go further, jom kita rehat dulu 5 minit. Kita sambung balik pukul 3 tepat. Jam 3 tepat, saya cuba untuk sambung jam 3 tepat. Kita sambung balik. So, job costing ni saya nak buat dalam masa 1 jam. Job costing ni kita settle dalam 1 hour, and then kita habiskan kita minggu ini. Tapi saya nak buat satu kelas tambahan jugalah untuk saya continue dengan chapter-chapter yang lain juga. Tapi tak lama lah, mungkin 1 jam lebih. Okey, yang tu pun saya tak pasti bila lagi ya. Okey, jom kita rehat dulu. Kita toilet break dulu. Pukul 3 kita akan masuk semula dalam kelas. Okey, thank you. Okay, let's continue. 3, 1. Definition of job costing, cost per job. Cost per job or job costing is refers to accounting system that determine the cost of individual job order. A cost accounting system where costs are assigned to each job. Kat situ you nampak ya, to individual job, cost assigned to each job. Objective is to compute the cost per job. A job costing order system accumulate cost for each unique job. Ada lebih kurang sebenarnya. Kalau you tak faham yang satu, you faham yang the other one. Each job or batch has its own distinguished or unique characteristic. Klien A berbeza dengan klien B, bangunan 1 berbeza dengan bangunan 2 for contractor. Measures cost for each job completed and not for set time period. Maksudnya kalau kita nak issue invoice, macam saya, if I want to issue invoice to my client, issue invoice ya, bukan issue quotation. Issue invoice ni bila job dah habis, dan kita akan kira semua cost, total cost, total cost, and then kita akan charge markup, and then kita akan set the quoted price there for our invoice. Some companies manufacture batches of unique product or provide specialized service, so they are using the job costing. Job costing is where a unique item is being made and cost can be specifically traced into that items. The cost could be large, such as building a house or a ship, or small, such as constructing a set of shelving for a room, constructing a room. This one is definition of cost. The most important thing is cost for one job, for single job. You calculate the cost. Cost involved is relevant cost for this job costing is material cost, again in chapter 2, labor cost and other expenses, including manufacturing overhead. Same with chapter 2, material cost. They are material that we bought special for that job, for that project, for that job project, for that item. Labor cost is total labor cost that we incurred for that job. Normally, each job we will have like a report card, a report, an Excel, a time sheet, a job sheet for us to calculate the cost for each job. Okay, normally we are using job sheet or time sheet. Job sheet or time sheet can be filled in using the job number to track time spent on the job. From that, we will check how long the project, how long we take time to complete that job, and then we will calculate. We can easily calculate the total, the labor hour cost, including the material cost and the other costs in the job sheet or times sheet. For other expenses, if direct, then the job number will be noted against that cost. If indirect expenses are offset, direct expenses like material, like labor, we can strictly charge to that job. For indirect expenses like manufacturing overhead, are often charged to a job on the basis of time, for example, and by using the OER, like I mentioned earlier. We can use POAR and we can use OER for other job that cannot be charged directly to that job. The general features for job costing ni, dia ada like production, dia ada banyak different job yang dia dapat. For example, you pelakon, you actor, you ada banyak filem. Banyak tu contohnya you ada 5 filem dalam satu tahun. You ada 10 drama dalam satu tahun. And then you ada review product. And then you ada masuk iklan. And then you ada banyak theater. So different. So manager you, management company you nak kira satu-satu job tu you untung ataupun rugi. Satu drama yang contoh for example, satu drama you jadi lead actor, you dapat 20,000 for one drama. One drama 20,000. Tapi shooting dia dekat Indonesia. Cost you tanggung sendiri. 20,000 tu berbaloi tak? Untung tak you ambil job tu? Kalau drama pun sama. Kalau drama tu drama rantaian. Drama rantaian 30 episod. Ya. Suamiku seorang pendusta. Okay. So Aaron Aziz dapat banyaklah sebab dia rangkaian RM30,000 Malaysia. Aaron Aziz untung tak untung ambil drama tu? Kalau dia banyak incur cost. Biasanya shooting di luar pada tempat dia lah. Contohnya kalau you duduk kat KL, you kena shoot dekat luar. And then banyak baju you kena guna. And then you kena beli baju sendiri for example. And the cost increase. So berbaloi tak you ambil job tu? Kalau penyanyi, dia ambil job tu ada annual dinner di Kuantan. Di Pekan lah, di Albi Haikom University buat annual dinner. Dekat Angkasa Hotel, Pekan. And then dia jemput BBNU kan. Dia jemput BBNU, dia jemput Daniel Chue, Aisyah Retno dan juga Alika Paujin pergi kat Pekan ni. So dia bagi RM3,000 seorang. Berbaloi tak? Daniel Chue tu nak datang Pekan dengan RM3,000. Menyanyi 5 lagu. Tak berbaloi. So kalau dia ambil, dia rugilah job tu. Okay. Many different job, usually small batches or either single unit or batches of unit. It must be unique, and unique tu maksudnya berbeza lah. Kalau klien saya, klien satu tu Ahmad, klien dua Zainab, klien tiga Kasim. So different people, it's a unique lah. Kita manusia kan unique kan. Okay. Kalau contract government you dapat Kasim Construction Sdn Bhd, you dapat 3 contract government. You 3 tender government. Tender 1, tender 2, tender 3. You buat 3 project for government. So you buka you buka lah satu fund untuk satu project. So job costing, project costing. Okay, example Boeing, aircraft kan, aircraft manufacturing. You dapat AirAsia order. AirAsia order 3 777 contohnya, 777. So Boeing ni dia dapat order from AirAsia untuk buat aircraft. Aircraft ni kan mungkin ada request, some request from AirAsia ke, so dia buat satu order dia dapat sebab dia untuk buat aircraft. Okay, Walt Disney Studio dia buat movie production and then dia buat dia punya movie. So based on job costing. Okay, the advantage and disadvantage of job costing ni, bila you kira sangat detail based on klien 1, klien 2, klien 3, klien 4 kan, banyak kerja. It requires a significant amount of data entry. So you kena key banyak benda kan. Expenses ni you kena pecah pada 20 klien. So you kena key lah 20 klien, you pecahkan cost ni kepada 20. Lepas tu you check klien A ni berapa jam you buat masa, klien B berapa jam. So tedious. It requires a significant amount of data entry. Expensive due to more clerical work means you have to hire lah special staff untuk key in all the expenses. to respective job, to respective project. And then because of we are human, sometimes we make mistake, and clerical processes, there's a chance of error there. Kan, kalau you mengantuk ke, you terkiki mengantuk, you tersakit. So there are a lot of chance for staff error, for human error when you key in all the data in the accounting software. Inflation, in inflation, comparisons of job sheet becomes meaningless. Maksudnya dekat sini, kalaulah you nak buat comparison pun, actually you punya klien tu lebih kurang je kan, you sungguh-sungguh kira seminit, 2 minit pun kira, 3 minit pun kira, 4 minit pun kira, you nak buat comparison job sheet you, sometimes benda tu terlalu, benda-benda kecil-kecil ni terlalu petty punya ni, actually you no need to calculate, you just tambah je berapa amount kan, tak perlu terlalu detail, sometimes okay. And then very complicated lah kalau tiba-tiba you punya accounting software tu tak boleh buat, and then you could purchase a new accounting software yang boleh pecahkan by job semua tu. And then cost tinggi lah you beli tu. Tetapi bila you key cantik, it become more precise on assignment of cost to project than process costing. It provide more useful accounting of financial information for determining the profitability of particular project and for estimating costs when preparing bid tender lah for future use, for future job. And information is readily available dalam software kita and help in control the efficiency of the efficiency of staff efficiency ke, machine efficiency ke, process efficiency ke, and then production planning and estimating the cost of the similar job can be easily done, and spoilage or defective waste can be easily identified lah kalau kita guna job order costing. Okay. Ni contoh job order costing ya. Job order 1. You beli direct material, you kedai kek, you beli tepung. You ada pekerja, ada chef, and then you ada cost lain, cost elektrik, api, air, elektrik, staff, reception, counter, semua tu kan. And then you nak pecahkan based on order 1, order 2, order 3. Order ni yang besar-besar tau. Majlis kenduri kahwin A, majlis kenduri kahwin B, nak cupcake, birthday party. You complete kan. So job 1, job 2, job 3, and then you kena charge dia, and then you kena invoice dia, and then you kena bagilah berapa dia kena bayar. Sama dekat sebelah ni, direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, you pecahkan kepada job 100, job 101, job 12, sampai dia dapat finished good and then ready to be sold to client. Bawah ni accounting dia, kita tak akan buat accounting sebab kita nak belajar basic costing sahaja. Ni this one example lagi, direct material you pergi charge dekat job A, job 1, job 2, job 3, direct labor you charge dekat job 1, job 2, job 3, and manufacturing overhead you asingkan. Kalau 12,000 you nak pecahkan macam mana? Macam mana electricity you nak pecahkan kepada job A, job B, job C. Sama ada you guna satu, berapa lama staff you bekerja, and you divide, you asing, dipecahkan. Macam yang ni dia buat 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. Job 1 dapat 4,000, job 2 dapat 4,000, job 3 dapat 4K. Ada juga dia charge based on berapa labor hour ke, semua dia dapat 2,000, 4,000, 6,000. Job 1 dia charge 2,000, job 2 4,000, job 3 6,000 based on manufacturing overhead. Punya ni mungkin based on OAR. This one is sample of job sheet atau job record. Dalam job sheet ni ada job number, quantity, item, date requested, for, date completed, date, direct material cost, direct material quantity, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, cost of completed job, berapa total direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, then you dapat total cost, and then berapa unit. Same goes to this one, STL ni pun sama juga, tapi format dia berbeza. Direct material request berapa, amount berapa, labor berapa banyak guna, and then berapa amount dia, and then manufacturing juga overhead. Sama juga. Sample job cost sheet or job record. Job number 91, customer RA's number high. Job description 14 tablet with accounting e-learning software. So total cost 18,900, quantity for 14 tablet, and then unit cost 1,350 ringgit. You tambah markup, and then you akan jadikan sebagai quoted price or selling price. You akan charge dekat RA ni, RM contohnya RM RM1,500 per tablet. Sama. Okay, this is illustration. Ada dua illustration before we go to batch costing. Illustration yang pertama, ini kita go through sahaja ya. Kita go through sahaja because this one is not tutorial. Kita go through sahaja dia punya this one, dia punya soalan dia ni. Najwa Cakes and Bakery received one job from DRB Highcom University to prepare one giant cake for Independence Day event. She named the job with job number 666. The job requires 20 kilos of material in store, which costs RM 15 per kg, and also a special ingredient had to be bought at a cost of RM 150. Mungkin flavor dia ke apa ke, saya tak pasti. She hired 3 staff for this job, consists of 2 normal worker and 1 supervisor. 30 labor, normal worker and supervisor. Okay, 30 hours labor was spent on the job, on this job, where the employees were paid at RM 9 per hour. In addition, 3 hours was spent by a supervisor who is paid at RM 15 per hour. Manufacturing overhead are absorbed at the rate of RM 4 per labor hour to the production cost to arrive at the quoted price, selling price there. 20% quoted price, 20% profit markup is charged on the total cost after adding the selling and administration of it. Ini contoh-contoh soalan dia lah. First, we go to material cost. Okay. Raw material kita nak guna ialah 20 kg. Berapa cost dia? 15 ringgit. And then you will get 300 ringgit. Special component or special ingredient that we are using is, dia punya value is 150 ringgit. So material cost for material is 450 ringgit for this job. Labor cost 30 hour times 9 ringgit for normal worker, for 2 normal worker. Okay, and then for supervisor 3 hours times 15 ringgit, and then you will get 15 ringgit for labor hour. For overhead, overhead is at 4 ringgit per labor hour. Okay, total labor hour is 30 hour. You add another 3 hour for supervisor. It is 33 hour. And overhead is 4 ringgit. Manufacturing overhead nya dia kira 4 ringgit satu jam. So 33 jam, they are using 33 hour, and then total overhead cost is 132 ringgit. So production cost dia ialah material, labor, overhead 897. And then dia kata 25% markup for selling and administration overhead. So 25% you times by 897 and you will get 224.25. And then you dapat total production cost. After selling and admin cost lah you added. And then dia kata dia nak profit markup. Dia markup profit 20%. So So dia markup 25%, 20%, and then quoted selling price dia ialah 1345.50. So dia invoice, dia keluarkan invoice dekat di Hacom University sebanyak ataupun berjumlah amounting 1345.50. Ini keseluruhan topik yang you belajar ni. Ini contoh-contoh soalan simple dia. Ada lagi soalan complicated, tapi this one is illustration untuk job. This one is second illustration. Ini macam saya lah. Job order costing in a service company. Accounting firm example ya. Armizi and Co. Armizi and Co bayar dia punya staff dia in total setahun 104.4k in total ya. Okay, remaining staff yang lain-lain tu kan, and remaining staff of, okay, Zikri semula. Zikri accounting firm pay seorang staff 104,400 and balance lagi 500 tu kepada staff yang lain. Okay, Arif Fikri ni work 1.8k hours per year. Okay, ni seorang staff dengan keseluruhan staff. Question 1. What is the hourly cost of Arif work to Zikri? Okay, labor cost per unit. Okay, Arif Fikri ni dia gaji dia setahun 104,000. 104,400 and then dia bekerja selama 1,800 jam. So berapa harga dia satu jam? RM58 saya kena bayar dekat Arif ni. What direct labor cost would be traced to client 507 if Arif Fikri works 12 hours to prepare client's 507 financial statement? Cost per hour just now 58, you times by 12 hours required to complete the task, and the total direct labor cost for client 507 is 696. And then in total, Zikri's estimation of budget is 8,000 direct labor hour per year. Zikri's indirect labor costs are 240 with base rate of direct allocation rate 240,000 ringgit Malaysia. You are divided by 8,000 direct labor hour, and then you will get 30 ringgit per indirect labor hour. Maksudnya OAR dia 1 jam 30 ringgit. How much indirect cost will be allocated to client 507? 30 ringgit ni you times by 12 hour because Zikri takes 12 hours to complete preparing the financial statement for client 507. So you akan charge kepada client ni 360 indirect. So Zikri 696 you plus 360. And then you mark up 25%. Yeah, how much the total cost for client 507? Total cost there 696 you plus 360 and then you mark up there. So in total dia dapat 3 net Zikri will charge client 1320. What is the total labor cost for the year for a Zikri accounting firm? Total dia ialah Zikri tambah dengan the others tambah dengan manufacturing overhead. Okay, so total cost bukan total labor cost ni, total cost for Zikri ialah total cost, total labor 844,400. Ini total dia. Batch costing pun sama juga. Batch costing dia by batch, process costing dia by process. Dia ada batch costing, process costing dan juga yang ni costing. Normal gain, normal loss, abnormal gain ni nanti kita akan belajar next week dengan tutorial. Okey, hari apa yang you free ya kalau saya nak buat kelas tambahan 1 jam macam tu? Malam ke?
Jumaat boleh ke, Sir?
Boleh Jumaat Jumaat malam boleh?
Petang boleh ke?
Boleh. Boleh je 1 jam je. Jumaat ni Petang pukul berapa tu Jumaat? Pukul 5, pukul 4. Jumaat tu saya ada meeting. Sekejap. Ataupun esok petang ke? Hari biasa tak apa. Boleh. Okey. Nanti you inform. Kemudian dia punya tu. Dia punya kelas tambahan tu lah. Now we go to batch costing. Batch costing, karakteristik of batch costing ni ialah dia buat costing by batch. Kalau dia nak order barang, contohnya, dia order by batch tu lagi murah ke tidak? Kalau satu projek tu, dia buat by batch, maksudnya batch satu, projek satu. It can be any definition of batch lah. Satu produk satu pun boleh. Dia macam-macam dia boleh buat kat situ. By batch. Ada yang satu company dia nak order by batch pun boleh juga, batch 1, batch 2, batch 3. Mungkin ada perubahan harga pada batch pertama, batch kedua, mungkin ada perubahan apa-apa perubahan tambahan pada batch yang ketiga. Okay, let's go to the characteristic of batch costing. This is a form of specific order costing, attributions of cost batches. Identical item are produced in production. The batch has a clear start and end to its production. Maksudnya dia by batch lah. Kalau you nak cerita pun nak sama juga macam case yang ni mungkin, tapi senario dia by batch. And then dia kena pecah by batch juga. And then cost per unit pun by batch juga. Okay, the cost of an individual item within the batch will not be known. What will be known is the average cost for an individual item within the batch. And then the number of units to be prepared in a batch need to be established to reduce the storage cost. Itu yang saya mention tadi. Ada orang dia buat by batch sebab nak jimat cost. Daripada runcit-runcit, baik dia order by batch. Okay. Yang ni batch cost. Okay, ni contoh dia. Ni agak complicated sedikit. Kita akan kira dekat sini. A company manufactures small assemblies to order and has the following data. Satu company ni dia manufacture small assembly. Okay, based on order. Okay, calculate the total cost for this batch. Okay, dia kata satu order ni dia buat dalam satu batch sebab dia nak jimat cost. So satu batch ni dipanggil batch 8X2508. Dia produce 250 unit of X2508. Satu batch 250 unit. So benda yang sama juga. This one kita ada total material cost, special hire equipment, kita ada labor cost. Ni ada 4 department yang involve: blanking shop, machining shop, welding department, assembly department, blanking department, machine department, welding department, and assembly department. Department blanking ni dia memerlukan 128 jam untuk menyiapkan 250 unit, 452 jam untuk menyiapkan 250 unit, 90 jam untuk menyiapkan 250 unit, and then 175 jam untuk menyiapkan 250 unit. Itu untuk labor. Untuk manufacturing pula, untuk overheadnya, OER untuk manufacturing, department blanking ni berapa kita nak charge dia manufacturing overhead. Kita charge dia based on 128 jam. Welding 90 jam, assembly 175 hours. And then machining shop ni dia based on machine hour, which is 643 hour, 43 machine hour. So dia punya rate dia kat sini labor hour 225, 250, 225, 180. Dia punya OAR for blanket is 530, 920, 550, 5 ringgit. Dia punya selling and administration overhead is 20%, profit markup is 25%. Sama je macam tadi. Semua soalan dia by batch. Okay, kita buat pengiraan kat sini. Total material cost. In total, 3170. Special hire equipment 525. Labor hour diperlukan 128. You time dengan 225. You dapat 288. 452. You time dengan 2.50. You dapat 1130. 90, you dapat 225, you dapat 202.50. 175, you times 180, dapat 315. And in total, you dapat total labor cost. Manufacturing overhead, blanking 128 times 530, 643. You times by 920, 60 times 550. And it's very simple. And then you will get a total overhead cost of 7964. And the total factory cost, total product cost is 13,531.50. Sorry. And then when you get 113,531 ni, and then you akan tambah 20% selling and administration overhead, 20% from the factory cost. Okay, 20% you time by 13,531 and you will get 2706.30. Then you add 13 plus 2, 16. And you will get 16 for 220 unit for batch. This one 250 unit. Profit markup 25% from 16. And then you will get the total is 2297.25. Then you divide by 250 unit and you will get 1 unit RM 81 ringgit 19 cent. You charge to client for 1 unit of this item or product. Actually, more or less the same with job costing. But this one, based on question, the question stated that this one is the manufacturer prepared by batch. One batch, 250 unit of item or product. So nampak sama. This one, if you want to jimat, if you want to save your money in ordering, you can use batch quantity order. More economy, lebih menjimatkan. Okay, quantity yang kita nak order yang paling jimat. So we are using this formula for you to jimat your cost, to optimumkan you punya production, and then you order pun dengan kuantiti yang betul, dan you order based on demand at that time, and then you order tu based on request from client. Tak adalah leverage dalam you punya store, tak adalah waste, tak adalah risk of obsolete stock. Kadang-kadang you simpan lama-lama dalam store, you punya material tu, raw material tu akan rosak. So this one is formula. Economic batch quantity can be determined with the help of a table, graph of mathematical formula. The mathematical formula usually used for its determination is as follows. EBQ 2DS divided by C. Okay. And then punca kuasa. D is annual demand for the product. S is setting up cost per batch. C is carrying cost per unit of production per annum. Okay, contoh dia kat sini ya, tak clear sangat. Sebab saya just crop sahaja. Illustration, this one I just take from internet, Mr. Google. Calculate the economic batch quantity. Total number of units to be produced in a year is 10,000. Unit setup cost per batch is RM 0.2, RM2 ringgit. And then unit setup unit RM 200. Carrying cost per unit of production is RM10 per unit. And then the solution is economic batch quantity. Kat sini sama je. Kita guna 2DS over C. Dia guna 2AO over C. Sama sahaja. A referring to the number of unit or demand of component in a year. O is setting up cost per batch. C is carrying cost per unit. So 2 times 10,000 order times 200 ringgit setup cost per batch divided by RM10 cent carrying cost, and then you take your calculator and then you will get 6324 unit. So one time you can order 6324 unit from your supplier. Okay, sekali order 6,000. Sekali order 6,000, baru ideal. You punya order tu based on 10,000 demand ni lah. Okay, this one pun sama, 2DCOCH, dia guna COCH. So for formula, whatever formula comes, you tahu dah guna. So formula ni macam-macam. Different orang, dia nak create different formula. Okay, 2 times D times CO divided by CH as square root. 2 times 2 times macam annual requirement 2,400 unit, ordering cost is 10 ringgit per order, holding cost is 0.3 per unit, and you will get 400 units. So setiap kali you order dekat supplier you order 400 unit, dia boleh jimat. Batch product is a technique which is commonly used today for distributing the total production series small batches rather than mass production. Maksudnya batch production is a technique which is commonly used today for distributing the total production in a series of small batches rather than mass producing in one go. Mungkin you nak order barang, you nak produce barang by batch, lagi better. Menjimatkan. Okay. Now we go to process costing. Macam tadi saya cerita, ada proses 1, proses 2, proses 3. So kita buat proses based on costing tu based on process. Okay, contohnya kat sini potato chips production from harvest to cleaning to slicing to frying and to package. Dia banyak proses dia. So this is the difference between job costing and process costing. Actually two different thing lah. Kalau you nak comparison, contohnya key point dia cost per job, key point dia cost per process. Now, who use this method? Companies that manufacture batches of unique product or specialized services. While for process costing, companies that produce identical unit throughout a series of processes. Nampak kan? Industry of company, accounting firms, music producers, building contractor, and healthcare provider. Process costing is large producer of similar good. Maksudnya dia buat barang yang sama tapi banyak kuantiti yang banyak dan proses yang banyak. What to compute? Cost per batch. What to compute? Accumulate cost for each process need to complete the production. Ini contoh. The rest tu you boleh baca sendirilah. Normal gain, normal loss, abnormal gain, abnormal loss. Normal loss is benda yang kita normal yang kita buat lah. Abnormal loss tu macam yang pelik. Additional loss. Abnormal gain, additional gain. Dia punya simple definition ni lah. Abnormal cost. Ini contohnya ya. Contohnya, example kat bawah ni dia kata, if a certain amount of orange are consigned, some of them will be destroyed in loading and unloading, whereas some of them will not be in a state to be sold. Maksudnya kalau company dia, contoh ya, import orange during Chinese New Year, contoh lah ya. Kalau kita hantar dia 10,000, tak semestinya 10,000 tu boleh guna. Akan rosak kan? So yang rosak tu kita consider sebagai normal loss. Normal lah tu kebiasaannya. Kalau supplier hantar 10,000 orange, contoh satu lagi dekat Pasaraya. Supplier hantar 10,000 orange satu bulan dekat Pasaraya kan? Normalnya Pasaraya akan return balik 1,000. Normal. Setiap bulan akan ada rosak 1,000. Itu normal loss. Normal memang ada loss. Tiba-tiba bulan tu pasar raya return 2,000. Normal loss biasa 1,000 je. Tambah pula 1,000. 1,000 tu abnormal loss. Itu je simple dia punya inilah pemahaman dia. And then normal gain, abnormal gain, normal. Contohnya normal gain yang biasa dapat tu lah. Kalau you jual kek RM1, kek tu RM2, you dapat untung RM1. Abnormal gain ni tiba-tiba ada orang nak beli 1,000 yang rosak tadi tu. Tiba-tiba yang rosak tu kan, contohnya kan orange yang rosak tu, ada orang nak beli second hand. Mungkin dia nak buat jus yang rosak tu kan, dia tak nak jual, dia nak buat jus. So dia nak beli pukal. Pukal dia nak beli RM1 satu biji. So dia bayar RM2,000 untuk dia beli yang pukal tu. Tiba-tiba ada gain kat situ sebab tiba-tiba ada orang beli. Itu abnormal gain. Gain yang jarang sangat berlaku. Okay. Normal gain, normal loss, abnormal gain dengan normal gain. Okay, ini contoh ya. Contoh 5,000 materialnya, 5,000 material biasa. Okey, contohnya 5,000 kilo tepung. Ya. Biasanya 10% tepung tu mesti tak guna. Rosaklah. Teraburlah tepung kan. Biasanya memang 10% tu kita akan burn je 10,000, 5,000 sebulan ya. Okey. Tapi kos nak beli ni, kos yang kita incur 40,500 untuk tepung ni. So, berapa expected output dia? Kalau contohnya 5,000 tepung ni, 10% dia mesti akan ada loss. So, kita estimate output dia ialah 5,000 tolak 10%. So, output dia 4,650 and then cost dia per unit 40,500 you divide by 4,650 and then you will get RM8.71. Ini normal loss dia. Okay. Kalau tiba-tiba ya, normal loss ni, kalau expected output dia 10% ya, 5,000, 4,500 sorry. Yang pertama tu 4,500, 5,000 tolak 10%. Tiba-tiba kan output dia RM4,650. Biasanya 10% tu hilang, 4,500 kan? Tiba-tiba dia dapat jual RM4,650. Maksudnya tiba-tiba ada additional. Mungkin bulan tu staff dia berjimat cermat dalam menggunakan tepung. So dia berjaya dia berjaya jimatkan 150 kilo. 5k you tambah 10, 500. So maksudnya normal output dia 4,500. Tetapi bulan tu dia dapat 4,650. So 150 tu berjaya dijimatkan tiba-tiba. Out of sudden tu dapat bulan tu jimat 150. So yang tu abnormal gain lah. Okay. Kalau tiba-tiba 4,400 je. Biasanya 4,500 output dia, average output dia tiba-tiba bulan tu dapat. So dia banyak pula yang terkurangnya kat situ. So tiba-tiba dia dapat abnormal loss 1,000. Dah lah 500 tu loss dah. Tambah 100 lagi loss. Itulah normal gain, abnormal gain. So di cost per unit ni kita bahagilah total output dengan berapa RM cost dia dengan total output dia berapa. Okay. Tutorial ni saya leave it kat sini sebab saya nak suruh cari jawapan dia. Nanti kelas ganti nanti saya tanya apa jawapan dia. Tapi saya dah ada jawapan, saya nak tahu jalan kira dia ya. Ini dah ada jawapan lah. Saya nak tahu jalan kira dia. Nanti dua orang akan kira macam mana soalan ni jawapan, macam mana dia punya pengiraan calculation for this question. Okay, that's all for today. Flashcard ni nanti kita akan buat, tapi saya tak sure sama ada kita buat, tapi maybe saya try masa kita punya tutorial nanti, masa kita punya replacement class nanti. Okay, thank you. That's all for today. Thank you so much for this chapter 3. So next class kita akan buat tutorial. Okay, any question from the floor?
Sir,
Yes.
kita orang suggest nak buat extra class Jumaat. Pukul 4 boleh ke?
Pukul 4 Saya ada meeting hari tu. Nanti saya tanya wife saya sama ada dia boleh ganti tak meeting tu. pukul 4 petang ya. 4 sampai 4:05.30 macam tu.
Okay, sir.
Nanti saya double check balik, nanti saya tanya wife saya. So
Alright,
itu sekolah punya meeting di sekolah. Okay, kita set dulu Friday 4 PM. Okay, untuk kita punya tutorial. Okay, thank you. See you then. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum. Selamat berbuka puasa.
Waalaikumsalam.
Salam sejahtera. Good
Waalaikumsalam.
afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all. Ada soalan nanti you tanya ya. Okay, bye-bye.